Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello and how you guys all doing today? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and normally these transaction videos for baseball I normally break down from the smaller and the more blockbuster maneuvers, but because of my schedule currently and time constraints, I'm gonna more so just do one where I recap different teams' signings from recent times since the last video we did. This, of course, is going to be focusing on a lot of signings that happened during the winter meetings last month, and just a few other ones that could be important, could be contributors to the team's performance as well. So without further ado, we're going to get rolling and just fly through these. I think there's 17 teams, I believe, that have transactions to briefly touch on. The first one, I'm kind of going in as far as how big of a deal it was. The first one is Max Kepler, being signed by the Philadelphia Phillies. He was a long-time Minnesota Twin. I believe, he probably could be, gets a lot of time in the outfield, maybe as a DH as well. He has been known in the past to have some power. His power has definitely slowed down a little bit, but this is a nice little piece for the Phillies, whether he's going to be full-time or of a backup as well, for sure. As he is starting to get up there a little bit in age, so this is a good pick by the Phillies. The Pirates also had re-signed Andrew McCutchen again to a one-year deal, as he will be back for 2025. Kutch is basically going year by year, it seems like. I believe he's 38 now. I think it was 37 or 38. He's up in his late 30s now. He got the 300, not 3,000 hits. Not 3,000 hits. He's not getting 3,000 hits. He got the 300 home runs last year. He doesn't have much left to prove. I still think he does have some in the tank, which is why I think he is still continuing to play. And he's really trying, I think, to get the Pirates back onto the winning ways and being a playoff contending team like he did from 2013 to 2015. So I don't know if Kutch is going to ever be able to accomplish that before he retires. The Pirates the past year have kind of been they've been better, but they've still been they're not really getting any better, but they're not really getting any worse. They made some gamble on some pieces this last trade deadline, and it didn't really work out in the meantime. But they still have Isaiah Kiner Falafa, wherever the heck his name is, I always forget his name, and several other pieces in their lineup as well. They could just have to remain consistent. So I think that's Kutch's biggest goal before he retires, is to get the Pirates back on winning ways. The team, of course, that he's probably will always be most known for when he comes the day he hangs up the spikes. But he is going to be back again, signing a new one-year deal with the Pirates. After that, we have the, Athletics. Not the Oakland Athletics anymore, they're just the Athletics. Because until 2028, I think it is, when they start playing in Las Vegas, they will not have a city, as they'll no longer be playing at the Oakland Coliseum this coming year. But they made a couple of transactions as well. A couple new names, and a big name that they signed to an extension that they originally were putting on the trade market at the trade deadline. There's Luis Severino, who is a longtime Yankee. He's definitely a good experience. Urshela as well, who's kind of bounced around a little bit the past few years. Nothing flashy, but still a solid, reliable piece to someone's lineup and infield. And then we also have their big young man, Brent Rooker, who has definitely been probably their best hitter the past couple seasons. They signed him to a 5-year extension. Well-deserved for sure, as Rooker has definitely improved a lot over the past couple years, even was a standout whenever the Athletics lost over 100 games just a year or two ago. But they're definitely on the way back to being a better team, and having Rooker for a little bit longer will definitely help for sure in the meantime. So that was a great signing there. Over here with the Tigers, they grabbed former and longtime Yankee Gleyber Torres, and they signed him to, I believe, a 1-year deal as well. The Yankees are moving on from Gleyber Torres. He once did have a couple good power seasons at the second base spot. He's kind of teetered off, though, a little bit since. He's still a good piece, not his value, but the Tigers, who I don't know what's going to happen with Javier Baez, because it seemed like the Tigers got better when Javier Baez was not in the lineup after he got hurt. So there could be some consideration there for that. I don't know if that would be the case or not, but the Tigers, obviously, who, if they do play how they were in the last half of last season, they have a good chance to contend again in the not-so-competitive American League Central for sure. But it's a nice gamble. We'll see. Maybe he could, have a bounce back year and get to where he was a few years ago, having some pop in his bat and whatnot. So that's a nice signing for the Tigers here. Over here now with the Cincinnati Reds, they recently acquired Gavin Lux in a trade from the Dodgers. Which is interesting because I hear Gavin Lux's name so much, yet he never really stands out. He seems like a piece that should be valuable in anybody's lineup, but it feels like every time the Dodgers is about to give him that full-time shot, somebody else comes into the picture. And with some signings the Dodgers just recently did, we'll get to in a little bit, I feel like maybe it's time we just let Gavin Lux go somewhere else. So he's going to a team like the Cincinnati Reds that has some pieces, still, some rebuilding, but some, they're trying to, hold on to build a team around from. So this could be a nice little gamble for the Reds here as well. So a nice little steal for sure, adding in Gavin Lux. We then have the Cleveland Guardians, who re-signed Shane Bieber, their longtime ace, to a 1-year deal, keeping him around again. And they also are bringing back for a third time Carlos Santana. He's had 2 separate stints with the Guardians/Indians, starting his career and probably most known for them, has bounced around a lot, becoming a journeyman. He still kind of has some value to him too, so that's definitely a good spot for the Indians, who have seemingly been able to hold on to the top spot in the American League Central, despite the fact that it hasn't been one of the most interesting divisions for a few years now. But this is a nice piece to add, and also to hold on to Shane Bieber for a little bit longer before he maybe tries free agency again next year, see if he can get a bigger deal. We'll see, though. We don't know what their personal lives are deciding for their reasons for staying, but it's fine by me. Following that, we have the Baltimore Orioles added some nice pieces as well. They have Tyler O'Neill, who just spent his last season with the Red Sox, kind of having, despite some injuries, a bounce-back year, getting his power stroke back. Definitely, a good piece to put in someone's lineup. He's only going to be 30 years old. That's a nice piece to add to their lineup. They have Gary Sanchez, a longtime Yankee with a great power bat. He has bounced around to several teams as well the past couple of seasons too, but he still has some value there at the catching position. And then we have Charlie Morton as well, who is near the end of his career, but I still feel like he finally figured it out later on in his career. Former Pirate, unfortunately, he wasn't always the sharpest of the Pirates, but he's had some success with the Astros and the Rays, and recently the Braves as well. So maybe his experience could provide for the Orioles club, who definitely has been one of the strongest teams the past couple years, can definitely compete with the Yankees, maybe, and maybe possibly win the American League East sometime soon. We'll see, though. But these are some nice, not super expensive pieces, but good pieces to add to their lineup. We also have the Texas Rangers did a few acquisitions, acquiring longtime veteran Jock Pederson, who has had a history of bouncing around to different teams as well, and has some playoff and World Series experience. And also young power bat Jake Burger, former White Sox with the Marlins last year, and now he's going with the Rangers this year, acquired him in a trade as well. So these are some nice pieces to add as well, too, as the Rangers look to bounce back after winning the World Series in 2023, and falling back on the losing side again in 2024. But then again, Bruce Bochy is their manager. Don't forget, when he was the Giants manager, he was winning World Series in the odd years. He was not so good in the even years. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. That's the complete opposite. So maybe the Rangers, it is the opposite. Maybe this year the Rangers will be a World Series contending team this year under Bruce Bochy. We'll have to wait and see there, but just had to throw that blurb out there. And then next we have the Washington Nationals acquiring a couple good pieces. They also got Josh Bell, who used to be with the team. They brought him back. And they also acquired power bat Nathaniel Lowe from the Rangers as well, who has some history of some good power there as well. People think the Nationals are starting to find some of the pieces to put together. So adding a couple veterans in there is going to help. That's a good thing to do. That's what the Pirates did back when they were about to break through as a contending team, when they brought in people like A.J. Burnett and Francisco Liriano and a couple other bats, can't think of off the top of my head, to help with the young guys in the lineup. But like when you're just about to break through, it's good to add some veterans like these guys in there, and it'll definitely help with the team chemistry. So this is a good acquisitions here as well too. Following that, we have the Cubs pulling off a trade to get Kyle Tucker from the Houston Astros, who is definitely in one of the last years of his contract. Tucker's definitely a great star. Unfortunately, injuries took away about half of the season for him this past year. But hopefully with a healthier year, he will definitely be in with the veteran and possibly contending Cubs again in the National League Central this coming season. And then speaking of the Astros, after they got rid of Kyle Tucker, they also signed longtime Diamondback Christian Walker, who is going to fill in a void at first base that has hindered the Astros for the past couple of seasons. Unfortunately, it didn't work out there for Jose Abreu, who was sent down to the minors last year and then was released. But Christian Walker has definitely been one of the best bats for the Diamondbacks over the past 5 or so years. And I think he definitely will be a great way to help fill that hole in the first base spot that the Astros have been struggling for quite a while. Following that, we have the Boston Red Sox signing, they got Garrett Crochet, the White Sox ace last year in a trade. Definitely bouncing over after the abysmal season the White Sox had. Hopefully to help contend the Red Sox as that American League is getting competitive again, once again. They also signed Aroldis Chapman, who again surprisingly was with the Pirates last year. I thought he did, I know he's getting up there. He's not as strong of a case as he used to be, but he still did a solid job for the Pirates last year. And then also, Walker Buehler, former Dodgers, signed a 1-year deal with the Red Sox as well. The Dodgers, of course, have a very, very crowded starting rotation. Probably too many names that could probably be in that starting rotation. If they would decide to re-sign Clayton Kershaw, although Kershaw's probably going to be out to at least the All-Star break from his injuries and whatnot. I don't know if even Clayton Kershaw would have a spot at making the rotation. And don't forget, Shohei Ohtani is healthy to pitch again this year. But who knows? But yeah, these are some good pieces to add for the Red Sox. Following that, we have the Diamondbacks acquiring Josh Naylor in a trade from the Guardians, who definitely had a nice breakthrough year last year. He'd be a good spot at first base to replace Christian Walker. And then also they pulled off signing, I think it was a 6-year deal, Corbin Burns, former Brewer, and last year he was with the Orioles. Surprised the Orioles didn't sign for a longer term deal, but it is what it is. But the Diamondbacks, who was the National League pennant winner in 2023, still hung around in contention decently well in 2024. So definitely these couple pieces could definitely, help them push them over the hump. And also, especially Corbin Burns getting towards the top of that rotation, that'll actually help there as well too. So a couple good pieces there. Following that, we have the San Francisco Giants signing Willy Adames, I believe, to like a 7-year deal to be their shortstop. That's a nice pickup for sure. Adames has an excellent bat for sure, and he's really broken through with the Milwaukee Brewers. And then they also, don't know this will be his last contract, because the Giants have had a history of signing some longtime veterans to like 1-year deals to finish their careers. But Justin Verlander, who's going to be 42 years old soon, signed a deal with the San Francisco Giants as well. Verlander had returned back to the Astros in 2023 after he was signed by the Mets through free agency, but then was traded to the Astros, and he's been with the Astros all last year. Down year, had some injuries, but maybe he'll get one last hurrah with the Giants. I think he might be on the quest to maybe at least get the 3,500 strikeouts, but I also do think that he is at 262 career wins. I sadly don't think he's going to get the 300. I know he had a Tommy John year, and I do think he also had a couple hampered years of injury, and there was a few years where the Tigers were no help with him at all either too. So I do think that he will come short on 300. But it could possibly be the end for Justin Verlander. Then again, who knows? He could be like Jamie Moyer and pitch till he's 50. He may, you never know. But still, 2 great acquisitions for the Giants, who are going to be contending in the competitive National League West. We also have the Los Angeles Dodgers, speaking of which, has signed 3 big names. We've got Michael Conforto from the Giants. They re-signed Teoscar Hernandez, who had an excellent year last year and also won the Home Run Derby. And they also signed Blake Snell, who opted out of his 2-year deal with the Giants as well to join that crowded rotation. So that's some nice pieces to add in there to the outfield. Conforto had a nice bounce back a couple of years after he was out with injury after being with the Mets, and then 1 year being in free agency. But again, he was injured, didn't sign anywhere. But of course, he bounced back. Blake Snell, of course, we all know is a former Cy Young Award winner, and that's going to be definitely a key piece to the Dodgers, who are looking to retain their world title this coming season. We have the Yankees, who had 4 big acquisitions. First, they have a new starting pitcher. Max Fried, who was with the Atlanta Braves, signed with the Yankees. They also got a relief pitcher in Devin Williams, who I believe they acquired in the trade from the Brewers. They also got Cody Bellinger in a trade from the Cubs. Which, of course, that I think was that after they acquired Kyle Tucker? I can't remember. And then, of course, they also signed Paul Goldschmidt to a 1-year deal as well. All these are great pieces. We'll see, of course, Max Fried, I'm sure, will be great in the starting rotation. Devin Williams will be either probably in the back end of the rotation or maybe even their closer. I don't know which way they're going to go with that. Cody Bellinger. Again, Cody Bellinger's not as good as he used to be. He showed some hope 2 years ago with the Cubs. Last year, he still did okay, but he kind of dwindled down a little bit. So obviously, maybe he just needs another fresh coat of paint. Who knows? And Paul Goldschmidt, he's starting to get towards the end of his career. He could contribute very well at first base or designated hitter, or he could always be a part-timer as well too at this point. We'll see, of course, what he contributes as well to the Yankees. And then finally, the Mets. So the Mets not only signed Frankie Montas, they also made probably the biggest deal of the offseason and probably one of the biggest signings ever. So first off, Montas will be a good addition to the starting rotation. He's a veteran with great experience. Juan Soto. This is the one I want to talk a little bit more about for a second. So Juan Soto, a few years ago, rejected a 15-year, $450 million contract with the Washington Nationals. That wasn't enough for young old Wani. He was then traded to the Padres. Spent a year and a half there. Was traded to the Yankees. Spent the last year of his contract at the Yankees. And myself knowing that the Yankees will offer you so much money, I really thought Juan Soto was going to stay with the Yankees. He did not. He stayed in New York, but it was the New York Mets that offered him $5 million more. The Yankees apparently offered Soto a 16-year, $760 million contract. But the Mets offered him 15 years, $765 million. One less year, $5 million extra dollars. Juan Soto is a New York Met. And I know he's young. He's still in his mid-20s. He has tons of years left. And he already has had excellent years with the bat. But I know a lot of people are saying that he is not a good fielder. All he can do is hit. So why is he getting this salary? Why is he getting a Shohei Ohtani type salary? Shohei Ohtani, of course, signed a 10-year deal, $700 million, which, of course, he's a two-way player, so he definitely deserves all that. Juan Soto, see, I'm not going to beef too much because I kind of did the same thing with Bryce Harper when he signed his 13-year deal with the Phillies, saying I felt he was a little bit overrated, and he since has taken that and shoved it right back at me and has proven he, in fact, is not overrated. I'm not saying Juan Soto is overrated either, but it's one of those things where it's like, you better give us, what the worth is. I know Soto has had times where he's hit for power and the average is down or whatnot. I don't know if he'll be any big record breaker by the end of his career in 15 or so years, which don't rush that because I'm going to be in my mid 40s when that happens. Please don't rush that. Yeah, we'll see how this works out for Juan Soto and the Mets, especially also too, the Mets have not been the most consistent team for a while now. I really thought that if anything, Soto would stay with the Yankees because of the fact that they're consistently contending. But of course, also someone brought up the point, he wants to be the face of the team he's on. And when you have Aaron Judge on your team, that's not going to happen. So I can get why there, but just interesting choice there, I thought, for Soto still. But yeah, that does it for all those transactions. Again, I kind of flew through them all due to time constraints, but I thought I did very well, with what I did. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video on Major League Baseball's transactions, more so from the winter meetings and leading up to mid-January. We're about a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting. Football season's about to wrap up with the playoffs. Steelers lost yesterday, but it is what it is. And we'll have some baseball again here soon. So I'll be probably trying to get some more stuff in soon for sure. So, well, guys, once again, what are your guys' thoughts on all these transactions? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. And be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to come on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well at thecluboftheman93. You may also follow me on TikTok and on Instagram at thecluboftheman1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your day. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah! Oops, missed my ending. There we go. Sorry, one more time. Yeah!